the song sheet. Oh, good. Thank you, recording. Return again, top number one. Return again, return again, return to the land of your soul. Return again, return again, return to the source of it all. Return to who you are, return to where you are, what you are, where you return to where you are born and reborn again. Return again, return again, return to the land of your soul. Okay, so it is customary to begin the service with the Kol Nidre, and a lot of you know how solemn and meaningful it is. But I want to take a moment to just reflect on why. We are in that place for Yom Kippur, and even before that for Rosh Hashanah, to allow ourselves to be free of vows that we might have made, that we meant to keep and we didn't keep. And there's another tradition that's even now we're going to make vows that we may not keep. So in the history of the Jewish people, rather sad times, during the Spanish persecutions and other times under Muslims as well, sometimes Jews would make a vow, would go and accept another religion, and then they would escape or go to, let's say, from Spain to Morocco, as Maimonides did. And under that freedom, they said, I made this real vow, to go be a Christian or go be a Muslim. So it became a very serious, solemn experience. And that's why it's so sad, or that's why people view it as being so powerful. But there's some readings we're going to do. I want you to think about. We're only human. We all promised that we would be better. It doesn't mean that we're failures. It just means that we're human. So we take that idea seriously. Please join me on 394 in the back of the book. Well, not the back, but in the middle, because that's where the service starts for Yom Kippur.
Are you going to have candle lighting?
After. We're going to do I switched it. We're going to do the Kol Nidre first, because the Kol Nidre is second. That's why we started so early, because I know. I just told Jeff that. Okay. Yeah, because you don't do the Kol Nidre is sort of like a court in session. So we'll light the candles afterwards. Page 397. You can just listen to this, or if you want to read, you can. The eternal God who calls us to repentance, we are grateful for the opportunity to answer your call, to forsake our sins, and to turn to you with all our hearts. Yet we know that repentance is difficult. We know that there have been times when we resolved to mend our ways and did not succeed. Even the admission that we have done wrong does not come easily. Our pride is as tall as the mountains. Our vanity is wide as the sea, and excuses abound. But before you, there are no secrets. To you all stands revealed our pettiness and our greed, our selfishness and our weakness, our running to do evil and our limping to do good. All these are known to you. On this night of atonement, we yearn to become better than we have been. For you, our Lord, have given us the great gift of atonement, enabling individuals and communities to return to you and to do your will. Let's read this last paragraph together. Open our hearts to the call of this sacred night, so that the words of our prayers may remain with us to renew us and to refine us. May our deeds make us worthy to hear your divine assurance. Salachti, I have forgiven. Okay, so some of you may remember a story that has nothing to do with Yom Kippur, and that is at the after the men came back from Canaan with the statement, this is great land, but we'll never conquer it. God was about to say and said to Moses, let me destroy these people, start over with you. And Moses, in one of his very strong episodes, pleaded with God, please, God, forgive the people. And God said, Salachti. And so that is where we're at. we kind of look at that moment, turn to page 400, after the Kol Nidre. On this night of atonement, we come before God, we confess, and then we quote those words from Numbers 15. Salach na la'avon ha'am hazeh, please God, forgive this people. And and then God says, Vayomer Adonai salachti kidvarecha. God says, I forgive you as you ask. And I want to say one more thing, and we'll talk about this a little more later. The three words that we hear a lot during the service, during the confessional: salach lanu, forgive us; machal lanu, kind of like pardon us, probably best translation; and kaper lanu, kaper, Yom Kippur. So they translate it as forgive us, pardon us, grant us atonement. Well, so I'll talk about it a little bit more, but every time we say those words, it's like we don't have any Israelis here yet today. Slicha, people say it in Israel a lot. They bump into you on the bus. Slicha is like, excuse me, I'm sorry, and it's just automatic. We just say, I'm sorry. So that's one level of a sin or mistake or an error, a hurting of somebody. Machal lanu is, please, just let's forget it ever happened, right? Erase it, delete it from the computers, or as they used to do when we were kids. You get in, you got a D on your report card, but or your test, but you got an A the next time. That deletes the other one. But kaper lanu, that's the heavy one. Those are for the mistakes, the hurts. I don't like the word sin, but the things that we do towards other people or towards ourselves that stay with us for a long time. You get a scar, but you got to do something for restitution. So that's why it's called Yom Kippur. Okay, so let us begin as we call up different people to hold the Torah scrolls, and this Torah scroll symbolically, with the ark open, become a court. And so they stand, and you guys, you can stand right here. Better to stand in down here, but if you want to be up, that's fine too. Okay. So Jeff and whoever else, come on up, come on up. There's a reader on 397.
Eternal God, who calls us to repentance.
Oh, that's the same one I just did. I apologize.
We are grateful for the opportunity to answer your call to forsake us and to turn you with all our heart. Yet we know that repentance is difficult. We know that there have been times when we resolved to mend our ways and did not succeed. Even the admissions that we have done wrong does not come easy. Our pride is as tall as a mountain. Our vanity is as wide as the sea, and excuses abound. But before you, there are no secrets. To you all stand revealed our pettiness and our greed, our selfishness and our weakness, our running to do evil and our linking to do good. All these are known to you. On this night of atonement, we yearn to become better than we have been. For you, O Lord, have given us the great gift of atonement, enabling individuals and communities to return to you and to do your will. Open our hearts to the calls of this sacred night, so that the words of our prayers may remain with us, to renew us and to refine us. May our deeds make us worthy to hear your divine spirit. Shall I have forgiven.
Thank you, James. You read it better than I did. I mean, with much more. No, I should have. Wherever there's a reader, Jeff will indicate one. Please come on up now. The people are going to hold the Torahs. As we read, the rest of us read together on page 394 with a leader. Forgiving. This is not one that you picked. Okay. Huh?
102.
Yes, the 394. Oh boy, look at this. Look at all these stalwarts. Oh, Simon, you made it. He grew a couple of inches. Ribono Shalom, I hereby forgive. Please rise. It's the Torah as the ark is open. Ribono Shalom, I hereby forgive whoever has hurt me and whoever has done me any wrong, whether deliberately or accidentally, whether by word or by deed. May no one be punished on my account. May it be your will, O Lord my God and God of my ancestors, that I sin no more, that I not revert to my old ways, that I not anger you anymore with my actions, and that I do not do that which is evil in your sight. Wipe away my sins with your great compassion, rather than through sickness or suffering. May these words of my mouth and the prayers that are in my heart be acceptable before you, O Lord, my rock and my redeemer. Okay, so I'll do the beginning, and your number 398. Yeah. Yeshiva shel mala, ubeshiva shel mata, al da'at hamakom, ve'al da'at hakahal, anu matirin, hitpalel im ha'avaranim, page 398 and 399. By the authority of the heavenly court, and by the authority, you guys want to stand up here? Okay, fine. By the authority of the heavenly court and by the authority of the earthly court, with divine consent and with the consent of this congregation, we hereby declare it permissible to pray with those who have transgressed. Okay. So,
Am I number one?
yes, you're one.
Okay.
I'm two, you're three.
Kol Nidre ve'isrei v'chamarei v'kinomei v'chinuyei v'kinusei Ushavu, Ushavu, Ushavu. Tavana Udacharina Vidyasana Al Nashatana Miyom Kippurim She'avar Yom Kippurim Zehaba Aleinu La Oh, Echratna Veho Oh, Yapon Shara Shiviki Shiviti Viteli Ulati La Shariri Alakaya Mi Nidrana La Nidre Israna La Israel Ushvatana La
Let's read the English together. All vows, oaths, and promises which we made to God and were not able to fulfill from last Yom Kippur to this Yom Kippur, may all such vows between ourselves and God be annulled. May they be void and of no effect. May we be absolved of them and released from them. May these vows not be considered vows, these oaths not be considered oaths, and these promises not be considered as promises. Kol Nidre ve'esarei ve'charamei ve'kolamei ve'chinuyei ve'kinusei u'shevu Udishtabana, Udeacharimna, Edi Asarana, Alnah Shatana, Alnah Shatana. Miyom Kippurim ze ad Yom HaKippurim haba aleinu letova kolehon icharat navehon kohon yohon sharon shavikin Sheditin, Betelin, Umevutalin, Lo Sheririn, Lo Kayamin, Nidrarna, Lo Nidre. Ve'esarana lo esarei u'shevuatana lo shevu Nidre Yesorem Ushvuei Vacharomei Ikonomei Ikinusei Uye Dayim Dayim Sara no Al-Naftatara Yom Kippurim Zeh Yom Kippurim Haba Haba לטובה. כולם יחרצו, כולם יהונשם. שריקן שריתן אתן מבוטלים לשרירים ולקיומים נדרנו לא Viesore, no lo esore, lo esore. Shebutara, la, la We continue, and you guys can begin to put the Torahs back. Top of 400. ונשלח לכל הדת בני ישראל, ולגר הגר בתוכם, כי כל העם בשגגה. סלח לעוון העם הזה, כי גודל חסדך, וכאשר נסעת לעם הזה ממצרים ועד הנה, ושם נאמר, ויאמר אדוני סלחתי כדברך, ויאמר אדוני סלחתי כדברך, ויאמר אדוני סלחתי כדברך. You may be seated as when the ark is closed. We have a reader on 402. 402.
All vows, promises, and commitments made in your presence, may we be given the strength to keep them.
Ourselves, commitments to self-discipline. May we take our own lives seriously enough to heed them, honoring our resolves in the way we eat and drink, the way we work and rest, the way we regulate our lives.
Commitments made to loved ones and friends, pledges made to worthwhile causes, help us to become as compassionate and generous as we sought to be in those noble moments.
Made to worship and to study. We meant them when we made them. We're many, and our wills were weak. Be strong enough. May our better selves prevail.
Promises made in the synagogue by young people who lived what life as Jews might hold in store for them. May devotion and idealism be with them all their days.
Our marriage vows, may they endure through dark days and dull days, through fatigue and through frustration. May our love prove strong and our faith firm.
God meant the promises we made to you, to each other, and to ourselves, even as we mean the vows we silently make tonight.
Give us the strength and self-respect, the fidelity and vision to grow to become the people we have sworn to be.
All worthy vows and commitments which we make from this yoke before until the next, may we be faithful enough and firm enough to keep them.
So go back with me just to finish up page 400 and let's sing. And if you want to sing in the Hanukkah tune, because you all know that one, the Shehechianu. We're grateful for this moment that we're here together to celebrate, and we are all part of this covenant. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam shehechianu v'kiyimanu v'higianu lahazman hazeh. So now we're going to hear from Dave. Is he here? He's hiding behind that mask. There he is. Okay. From our president, El Nasif.
Well, let me start by saying I apologize. I have a bad cold. That's for the mask, and I may have to break away with some water to avoid coughing fits and so on. But thank you all for coming. So, Rabbi Halfon, members of our board of directors, and most importantly, members of our Mount Sinai family, you guys. This is the time of year when I report to you on what's been happening in our synagogue. And I'm happy to say it has been a great year. We welcomed new members and celebrated new Jews. We enjoyed major holidays and our Shalom dinners, and we repainted the social hall and expanded the synagogue library. There were some challenges, of course. Someone tossed a bag with beans on it and an anti-Semitic message onto the lawn of a Christian state legislator. The action was roundly condemned in Cheyenne and around Wyoming, and it never happened again. Our synagogue and members of our congregation were not targeted. We started our first Shabbat program back in November. We moved our Saturday morning services to the first Saturday of the month. We also used the occasion to honor various members of our congregation, including Babs Klein, Lila Galensky, Agnes Weinstein, Tikva McKinnon, Steve Bourne and Carol Fisher, Noam Montaka, Dave and Lori Lerner, us, and Morris Gardner, who's coming up in October. At each service, we had a minyan, and the honorees were invited to come up to the first Aliyah and read from the Torah. They were also honored at a luncheon following the service. Excuse me. The goal was to increase attendance for Saturday morning services, and it worked. We've always had a minyan, and we've always been able to read from the Torah. Rabbi Halfon launched his Intro to Judaism class after the High Holy Days last year. There was stimulating discussion and lots of learning, and some of the participants went on to plan on converting to Judaism. Our Shalom dinners were also a hit. Excuse me. Once a month, we all go out to dinner together. We went to different restaurants throughout the year. The Shalom dinners always draw a good crowd, and we had great food and great service everywhere we went. But we have to mention our Christmas Eve Shalom dinner. It was held at China Buffet. Well, you know, the Jewish tradition of having Chinese food on Christmas Eve. We had 42 people show up. That's more than at any other event other than the Passover Seder and the Yiddish Food Festival. It was impressive, and we'll do it again this Christmas. Also last winter, Marilyn Vissenberg passed away. Not many people in our current community knew her. She apparently moved away from Cheyenne a long time ago. And I think at this point, Phyllis, do you want to finish this speech? Because I'm starting to cough too much. So, apologies.
You're forgiven. That's the whole point of it.
So,
Hitting for Dave Lerner. Phyllis Bloomberg is up to bat.
so just flip each page.
Where are we?
Top there, page.
Okay, so this is a cold read. I have not seen this before. But Mount Sinai was still in her heart. In her will, she left about $100,000 to the synagogue. We put half of that into long-term investments, and the other half was used for our budget. It will be spread out over several years. We held an unveiling for her at the Jewish cemetery, and a plaque with her name on it has been installed in the large sanctuary. Lots of people came to our annual Hanukkah party. We lit menorahs, enjoyed potato latkes and sufganiyot, and played dreidel. But one of our bigger challenges happened when we were cleaning up after the party. Water started backing up out of the sewer system. It turned out that tree roots had grown into the synagogue's sewer system. We shut off the water and had to close the building for a few weeks while repairs were made. I'm happy to report that everything is functioning normally. We initially thought the problem may have been coming from outside the building and asked the Board of Public Utilities if they were having a problem. They came out and checked, and it wasn't them. but they discovered something else. Thank you for numbering the pages.
There you go.
When the foundation for the synagogue was dug back in 1949, an underground river was discovered. We modified the building plans and were able to use the river to create our mikveh. However, the underground water came from the direction of F.E. Warren Air Force Base. There was also a dry cleaner located in what is now the parking lot across the street from the synagogue. The end result was that the water coming in under the synagogue was highly polluted with cancer-causing chemicals. When the synagogue was built, there wasn't a separate storm and sanitary sewer in the neighborhood, so all of the water went to the sanitary sewer. The Board of Public Utilities wanted us to dig a new sewer line for the river water to flow through and connect to the new storm sewer on 26th Street. That would have been very expensive. We reached out to the Wyoming Department of Environmental Quality because we thought that sending polluted water into the storm sewer was not a good idea. They agreed, but they also said that they had money set aside for exactly this purpose. So the DEQ is paying for the cleanup of the polluted water and a new sewer line connecting to the storm sewer. There will be no cost to the synagogue. However, repairing the line that was blocked by the tree roots was expensive, and it was followed by repairs to our furnace heaters. Our poor building fund was drained with the repairs, but we did get a lot of donations that helped ease the pain. We had a couple of other fun things last winter. Noah Mataka won the Kugel cook-off. That was a surprise. Noam said he liked another Kugel better than his own, but he did earn the bragging rights for this year. Rabbi Halfon was invited to deliver the opening prayers at the Wyoming legislature. He spent a week with the House and a week with the Senate. If you don't like what the legislature did last winter, well, take it up with the rabbi. We'll blame him. We didn't have a lot of sad things here, but we did have some. Mary Ann Palmer, our beloved security guard, suffered a serious health issue in December and had to retire immediately. We miss her and look forward to the day she can return to the synagogue, not as an employee, but as a friend. We also lost Aaron Bregman this year. Our love and sympathy goes out to his family and loved ones. We tried something new in March, and it worked out so well, we did it again in July. The women of our congregation organized and led a Shabbat service. The service was wonderful and very well attended. For the one in July, every seat in the small sanctuary was taken, and there were seats extending out into the hall. Dozens of volunteers spent hundreds of hours preparing for and then holding the Yiddish Fruit Festival. About 500 people came to the synagogue in June. They bought and enjoyed the food our cooks had prepared, listened to a klezmer band, watched and participated in dancing, took tours of the synagogue, and listened to presentations by the rabbi. Our Yiddish Food Festival has survived COVID and made a successful return. We raised more than $9,000 and gave 10% of that to the local Family Promise charity. Rabbi Halfon also conducted 3, or is it 4, weddings this year. He's been all over the place. One wedding was in Jackson, another one at Estes Park, and others more local. Rabbi Halfon also spent July in Israel. He attended educational seminars at the Hartman Institute and networked with other rabbis and religious leaders. The rabbi also toured Israel for a couple of weeks and is eager to discuss his experiences. There was a passing of the torch at the synagogue. Tikva McKinnon, who has been our office administrator for many years, decided to retire. Tikva was absolutely wonderful, and she did a great job. Ben Thornell stepped in and is our new administrator. Ben is working out great, and we are very happy to have him. And we're growing. We added 8 new members this year. Matani Ravana, Stephanie Sterling, Tyler Sterling, Thomas and Laura Silliman, Rebecca Slingline, Leo Wolfson, and Kathleen Dow. Rabbi Halfon also led Beit Dins for Thomas Silliman, Laura Silliman, Rebecca Slingline, David Lucero, Sarah Copeland, Kara Johnson, and Carolina Lopez. And this was obviously written before our last board meeting because we have another new member. Sarah Copeland is now a new member as well. So we have 7 new Jews this year, or is it 8? Ben Thornell started a youth group at our synagogue. The numbers are small, but growing. They've gotten together for games of laser tag and are planning miniature golf and hiking trips to Villabou. So you can see why we're enthusiastic about Mount Sinai. We have a lot of things going on, new people coming in, plenty of social activities, and religious services. But to quote the old television commercial, but wait, there's more. As we approach the end of the year, thoughts will occasionally turn to taxes and how to limit your tax bill. We'd like to tell you a little bit about Mount Sinai's options. Mount Sinai is a 501c3 organization under IRS rules, so donations to the synagogue are tax deductible. The synagogue has 2 long-term funds that are actively raising money and benefit the local Jewish community. They have slightly different philosophies on how your money is used. The Mount Sinai Trust uses a local financial advisor and is invested in a variety of mutual funds, stocks, bonds, and CDs. The Mount Sinai Endowment is invested with the Jewish Foundation of Greensboro, South Carolina. 20 other synagogues invest with the same organization. The Mount Sinai Trust and the Mount Sinai Endowment have both been growing. Each one is now over $500,000. Combined, and if the stock market cooperates, we will have saved about $1.1 million. That is very, very impressive for a small congregation in Wyoming. It says a lot about the quality of our people and their commitment to Judaism, Mount Sinai, and each other. So, what do we do with the money? Well, we don't touch the principal at all. We take just a small portion of the interest and use that for synagogue expenses. The more the endowment and trust grow, the more interest we can use. Getting to over $1 million is amazing. And I have to credit Steve Bourne and members of the endowment board and Morris Gardner and members of the Mount Sinai Trust for being careful guardians of our money and doing an excellent job of growing our savings. The annual budget to run Mount Sinai is around $130,000. More than half of that pays for the rabbi. We also have regular expenses such as insurance and utilities. This is a large building with a lot of open spaces. Our utility bill is high. The interest from the endowment and trust covers about 15% of our costs. Dues, donations, and lots of fundraising cover the rest. The more our funds grow, the more interest they return to the synagogue. The bottom line is that we are doing okay. We're paying our bills and doing lots of fun and interesting things. I started off saying it's been a great year, and it has been. The future is looking bright too. We're excited about Sukkot, Hanukkah, Purim, and Passover. We're looking forward to more Shalom dinners, Israeli dancing, and the rabbi's classes. We'll all pull together and work hard to create the Yiddish Food Festival next June. And we'll celebrate the good times ahead and help each other through the rough times. And we'll do it all together. You know, we really appreciate you. We want to take this opportunity to thank you for being a member of our family, whether you come to the synagogue regularly or just pay dues, or only come for the high holidays or the Yiddish Food Festival every year. We are seeing our family grow. And one reason is that new folks meet and get to know you, and you make them feel welcome. You deserve all the credit. So thank you for a wonderful year. We wish you an easy fast and a great 5784.
Thank you. Very good job for never having seen that before.
Yeah.
So thank you very much.
Thank you, Dave, for
So,
all you do. Thank you, Phyllis. Refuah Shlema, Dave.
well, and it was all meant.
All right, now, there was a plan to light the candles, and I'm gonna just say, we're gonna light the candles now, even though it got dark, because now we finished with all the business, so we can do that. So can we have some of our, yes, you're excused.
Yes, I'm gonna head out.
Yes, I know. In the spirit of that last speech, I will say, on Rosh Hashanah it is written, and on Yom Kippur it is sealed, right? So success for us. Okay, Jeff, who's going to come up and light the candles? All right, feel better, Dave. Drink a lot of water and tea. Are we lighting the candles, Jeff? Yes. Oh, good. Okay, Gail. Turn to page 880 in the back of the book. On this sacred night of atonement, as the sacred night of atonement begins, may the sight of these candles kindle within us a spirit of devotion and repentance. May we forgive one another as we seek divine forgiveness, drawing closer to one another in love and drawing closer to God's law of righteousness and truth. And the blessing is right below there. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kidshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lehadlikneh shel Yom HaKippurim. And one more time, Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam shehechiyanu v'kiyimanu v'higianu lazman hazeh. Before we begin the Baruch Hu, don't think about food, but I like to read something before the fast. This is by Julie Silver, the singer. Do not wish me an easy fast. Let my fast be difficult. Let me remember the hungry people of the world who have no choice, no voice. Let me understand that starvation and emptiness exists, even when there's plenty of food on our tables. And if my fast causes me pain, let me sit with the pain. If my head throbs, let me handle it. If my stomach grumbles, let me welcome the sound as I welcome the shofar blast. Let my fast be the call, and let my life on earth be the response. So, and I did tell a few people, if you are taking medications of any serious consequence, such as, I'm not sure what kinds, I'm not a doctor, or we have a congregant who's pregnant and any day now, a member, not a member yet, but you know, and so you make your own judgments as Dave did. But I would add this: fast from gossip, fast from negative energy, fast from hatred, fast from doubts, self-doubts. You know, so choose your own fast. We rise for the Baruch Hu, finally, page 408, turn back. And it will not be a long service, but a little longer than normal because we include the confessional prayers. Page 408. Remember, like I said last week, there is a special series of melodies for both Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur evening. So just follow along with me. Ya, 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 ya. Ah, ya, 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 ya. Ah, ya, 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 ya. This is for you to learn. Ah, ya, ya. Oh. Adonai, Amevoy. You seated? Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher bivaro v'anabi avaravim, v'chokhmah poteach she'arim, u'v'vana meshaneh itim, u'machalif et hazmanim, u'mesader et hakochavim, v'mishmerotehem ba'akia kotzono, v'orei yom v'alayla, goleh elotim b'choshech v'choshech midnei or. And again, this translation is right across the page. You remove day and bring the night, you separate one from the other. We call you Lord of heavenly hosts. You are a living God. May you rule over us as you rule over nature. Praise you, Adonai, who brings the evening dusk. El Chai v'kayam, tamidim loch aleinu, leolam va'ed, Baruch atah Adonai, your line, Baruch hu u'baruch shemo, Hama'ariv Rabavim. Amen. Got it, guys. Okay. We continue with the tune you know for Ahavat Olam, the Shabbat. This is a more conservative prayer book than some of us use during the year, but it's same prayers. Ahavat 410. Ahavat Olam Beit Yisrael Kamkavta Torah u'mitzvot, chukim u'mishpatim, otanu limadeta. Al ken Adonai Eloheinu, b'shofeinu u'v'kumeinu, nasiach b'chukecha, v'nismach b'divrei Toratecha, u'v'mitzvotecha, Leolam v'ed. Here it goes back to Ki hem chayenu v'orech yameinu u'vahem nehege yomam v'alayla v'ahavatecha al tasid mimenu le'olamim baruch atah Adonai baruch hu u'baruch shemo ohelamo Yisrael. Pretty good, since I was in Howard's range there. Now I do want to try this year, just because I'd like you to be familiar with the not the high holiday melody for the Shema that so many congregations use. As so many of you know, we've got this da 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 da. We're in the major key, but Yom Kippur especially has that kind of plaintive feeling. Plus, we will use this melody tomorrow night when we're up here on the beam, and you're all going to come up on the bima, right? No excuses, except for those who maybe can't make it up, or right down here perhaps. And we sing the Shema, then we sing the Baruch Shem Kavod 3 times, then we sing Hagad Adonai Hu Elohim. So this is the melody. It's a beautiful, haunting melody. Page 412. Now, just to practice, I will sing it again, la, 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 then you'll join with me. Oh, yeah, 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 yeah. Oh, yeah, 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 yeah. Oh, yeah, yeah. Oh. At the end, it increases, just like sing it as loud as you can. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. I heard that. Keep going. Baruch, Baruch Shem, Hivod Malchuto, Leolam va'ed. We continue. Ve'afta et Adonai Elohecha b'chol levavecha u'b'chol nafshecha u'b'chol me'odecha v'hayu advarim ha'ele Asher Anochi Mitzavecha Hayom Alivavecha Vishinantam Livanecha Vidibartam Vishivtecha Vivettecha Uvelechtet Avaderech Uveshokbecha Uvekumecha Ukshatam le'od al yadecha v'hayu letotafot be'enecha uchtabetam al mezuzot beitecha uvisharecha. You don't have this reading. I just put a few things in here. We all drink from one water. We all breathe from one air. We rise from one ocean and we live under one sky. Remember, we are one. The newborn baby cries the same. The laughter of children is universal. Everyone's blood is red, and our hearts beat the same song. Remember, we are one. We are all brothers and sisters, only one family, only one earth. Together we live and together we die. Remember, we are one. Peace be on you, brothers and sisters, peace be on you. And that is by Anwar Fazal. To continue picking up the conclusion of the third paragraph of the Shema 4:16. The Lord said to Moses, speak to, now we don't grab our talit this time, not on the evening service, even though we're wearing one, just only in the morning. Lord said to Moses, speak to the children of Israel and bid them to make fringes on the corners of their garments throughout their generations, putting upon the fringe of each corner a thread of blue. When you look upon the fringe, you will be reminded of all the commandments of the Lord and obey them. You will not be led astray by the inclination of your heart or by the attraction of your eyes. Let's read this last paragraph together. Thus will you be reminded to fulfill all my commandments and be consecrated to your God. I am the Lord your God, who brought you out of the land of Egypt to be your God. I, the Lord, am your God. Ani Adonai Elohechem, asher hotzeti etchem me'eretz Mitzrayim, lihiot lachem Elohim. Ani Adonai Elohechem, Adonai Elohechem emet. Bottom of page 418. I'm sorry to tell you that, again, you won't hear that fast marching happy Michamocha until Shabbat. But we go back to that kind of, the judge is here. We got that mood of high holidays. Give me a bottom 418. Moshe v'nei Yisrael, l'chanu shira, v'simcha rabah, v'amru chulam, mi chamocha ba'elim Adonai, mi kamocha nedar ba'kodesh, nora tehilot osefele, malchutecha ra'uvanecha, okayam lifnei Moshe u'Miriam, ze'eli anu ve'ameru, Adonai imeloch leolam va'ed, v'ne'emar ivad Adonai et Yaakov, ugalo mi'at hazak mimenu, Baruch ata Adonai. Here we go. Baruch hu Baruch Shemo Ga'al Yisrael. Amen. Don't worry, I don't have anything. Just dry. I'm not, by tomorrow, you know what happens, James? By tomorrow, it's an advantage. When I get dry, there's nothing in me. And I start singing with this, I hope so, by tomorrow afternoon, it just flows easily. So I just have to keep on remembering. Singers know this, right, Howard? Saliva, just keep swallowing. Hashkivenu on page 420. Remember, you notice no guitar tonight, not because I didn't want to just hassle with it, but let's do the tune that we do every Shabbat. And as we think about all the places in the world, children living literally in a sukkah, if you've ever been in Brazil, up in the hills, people live in huts, homeless people. In a week, this weekend, we'll be going out to our sukkah to remember that we were once wandering people. We feel that sense of, rootedness in the earth, but at the same time, the temporariness of the sukkah. So we ask God to protect us, to be with us in the sukkah. 420, and it is not transliterated, so we'll do the best we can. Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu l'shalom v'hamidenu malkeinu l'chaim ufros aleinu sukat shlomecha ufros aleinu sukat shlomecha Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu l'shalom v'hamidenu malkeinu l'chaim. Very bottom now. Ufros aleinu sukat shlomecha. Ufros aleinu sukat shlomecha. Baruch atah Adonai Apores sukat shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael ve'al Yerushalayim. Down at the bottom of page 420 now, we return to that solemn melody. Read with me 421. For on this day, atonement shall be made for you. To cleanse you of all your sins shall you be clean before the Lord. Ki vayom hazeh yichaper aleichem l'tacher etchem mikol chatotechem lifnei Adonai titaru. We get ready now for the Chatzi Kaddish, once again in a different melody. You'll pick it up with me the best you can. I want to say one or two more things, though, as we go right now into the silent Amidah. So some of you are familiar with Shabbat, the Amidah, the standing prayer, but it has, for the first time, we see on 434, this little Hashamnu thing, this little confessional, which I'll say a little bit about as we go into it. So we will do some of that together in a moment. We do it in the Bidui. So I'm asking you, if you feel comfortable, to rise and to rise if you feel comfortable, to rise and go through the parts of the Amidah that you know already, and do the rest of it, including the confessional section, on your own. So we'll have a little more time. And also, if you want to, we're not going to do 446, but if you want to, there's a little more material that you can read through, including the Al-Chetz, which we will do again as well together. So there's no Adonai, we don't do that. But we are going to do the Chatzi Kaddish. Here we go, 422. And that opens the door to the Amidah. Yikadal, Yitkadash, Shemei Rabbah, give me an Amen. Be'alman divrach yutei, be'amlich malchutei, b'chayechon, u'v'yomechon, excuse me, u'v'chayedechon, Beit Yisrael Agala Uvizman Kariv Bimeruhu Amen. Hit it. Yehei Shmei Rabba Mevorach Le'olam Ulamei Almaya Yitbarach Yishtabach Yitbar V'Poman Ve'yitnaseh Yitadar, Yitalev, Yitalal, Shemei the Kudisha, Berichu, Le'ela, Ule'ela, Mikol Birchata, Shirata. Get ready to rise. Tushbechata, Benechemata, Damiran, Vilma, Vimeru, Amen. Remember, don't worry, we will be doing the confessional again together if you don't finish it all.
This melody was written for the 60th anniversary of the State of Israel. Oseh shalom bimromav, hu yaseh shalom, shalom aleinu, v'al kol Yisrael, v'al kol Yisrael, v'yimeru, v'yimeru, amen. Oseh shalom bimromav, hu yaseh shalom, shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'al kol Yisrael, v'yimeru, v'yimeru, amen. Oseh shalom, shalom bimromav, hu yaseh shalom, shalom aleinu, v'al kol Yisrael, v'al kol Yisrael, v'yimeru, v'yimeru, amen.
You can all be seated unless you're still davening. We'll be doing the confessional section together. Howard, it's always wonderful to hear your voice. Now, I just want you to come back every Shabbos, or at least once a month. All right, so this is a preface. I think one day I'm going to do a whole sermon, or maybe we'll do the sermon together, right? I'll hand out little pieces of paper. You all know what a meme is, right? M-E-M-E, not a mime. It's like little Facebook posts that I get. I got posts from friends. I get all kinds of stuff, and I just put them on my phone, and then I transfer them to my computer. So I could do a whole service on that. So this is on a t-shirt. If you see me talking to myself, don't worry, just move along. I'm self-employed, and we're having a staff meeting. You all seen that one before? I just thought it was, and this is to lead into my second. This is not a funny one. This is Rav Kook, right? Rabbi Abraham Isaac Kook was the first chief rabbi of Palestine and then Israel, and he wrote the following on the real name. I feel like Dave here. The real name for tonight or today is Yom HaKippurim, the Day of Atonings. On the holy day of Yom HaKippurim, he wrote, "We eat and drink from our holy inner voices of understanding." So, and one more meme. Don't forget to close all the tabs in your head. You know the tabs on your computer. but we have these tabs in our heads too. So you got to go back and close the tabs. Make sure that, you know, something that happened when you were 10, you're not thinking about all the time. So during the high holidays, we ask God for forgiveness, and we ask people in our lives that we've wronged in word or deed, inadvertently or inadvertently, for forgiveness. But what does Judaism say about forgiving ourselves? Maybe we haven't treated our bodies with the kind of compassion we deserve. Maybe we haven't lived up to our own expectations as far as our family and our work or shareable obligations are concerned. So we all have regrets. There's so many things that we could have done or should have done, and we walk around, like I said, with the tabs in our head saying, oh gosh, I should have done that, I could have done that. I have as many regrets as any of you, probably more. So, but love heals. It heals the soul. It heals the relationships that we cherish. It heals the world. Self-love strengthens our ability to be loving beings. Now, this does not mean that I walk around saying, you know, and you all remember that line, the line in Leviticus 19, you shall love your neighbor as yourself. So flip it around. If you have to love your neighbor as yourself, you have to start with loving yourself. So we used to talk about this in rabbinical school. What if somebody says, well, I hate myself and I hate you too, you know? So I'm doing the same thing. I care about me like I care about you. No, you have to love yourself in order to love your neighbor. And as we deepen the love for ourselves, we deepen the capacity to love others. So how much more should we be forgiving ourselves on Yom Kippur? So change has to start with the person in the mirror, the individual, the self. No one else, not even your spouse, your lover, your best friend, your teacher, your therapist, can ultimately get inside your head, my head, and make the changes happen. I have to go it alone, confronting my own failures and needs. I can ask for help from friends. I can also ask for help from God, Hashem, to accomplish those inner changes. In the last analysis, we stand to gain from honesty with ourselves, and also by searching and asking for the help we need to change the habits that keep us stuck. We stand to gain from confronting our pain, our hurt, our craziness, our time wasting, our addictions. We also stand to gain from granting ourselves the same compassion that we grant to other people, or we ask them to grant to us, or we ask of God. Now, be nicer to yourself. We need to change, but we don't have to drive ourselves crazy to do it. So I want to make sure that I'm clear. We have to put pressure on ourselves. We have to commit to be better, but we don't want to do that with a lot of, you know, guilt. Oh, I should have done this. I'm such a bad person. So I have a suggestion to make. I kind of wish that, you know, Noam or Matani are here, but I'll just explain it. So there's a word in the word Kippur, as I said, is atonement. The word Shipur is when you go and you see the house or your office and you do improvements. So I suggest maybe this is Yom HaShipur. Yom HaShipurim, the day of improvements. What can we do and improve ourselves? So just here's a few. And I'm not preaching, well, I am preaching, but I'm not saying you must. Ask, instead of, I'm not answering questions, just asking myself. Spirituality. What do I find spiritually satisfying? In what ways have I added to my own spiritual dissatisfaction? In what ways have I been grateful or ungrateful to those who have helped me? How could I express more gratitude to life? Call it God, you know, I'm grateful for this beautiful sunset. I'm grateful for the food I'm eating. Do I see holiness in my everyday life? Do I try to find some meaning in each day? Or is there some blessing that I could practice? A blessing in English and Hebrew, you know, I bless my body as I wake up. I bless of this beautiful, I have this practice. It was maybe a little different when I had my own big house and garden back in California. But even here, I'll go over to the zucchini that's coming out and I say, "Hi there, bless you. Now, may I eat you, please?" You know, so that's my way of doing a bracha. Now, here, next category, if you will, behavior towards others. What is one little thing I could do to enhance others' dignity? In what ways have I stolen other people's dignity? Do I publicize others' mistakes? How was I hypocritical in saying one thing and doing another? Do I speak about people behind their backs? What is a small way I could bring more kindness and honesty and clarity to my work? So these are just some of the things. Have I devised philosophies or arguments to explain away my own behavior? There was a rabbi that some of you may have heard of, Dr. Abraham Twersky. He's gone now. Was a Chabad and Orthodox rabbi, but also a psychologist. He worked with addicts for a long time. And he used to say, you know, you've heard the Abraham Maslow says there are basic human needs, biological, right? Food, shelter, self-esteem, self-actualization. Twersky added, in jest, one more need we have, someone to blame. It's not my fault. It's my dad's fault. It's my teacher's fault. It's their fault. So we have to stop doing that. Number 3, I suggested some other categories. Mitzvot now, please. I'm no rabbi, I know. Responsibility. Another word for mitzvot are obligations, responsibility. How did I behave in relation to my higher power? For that matter, what do I understand the divine to be? I remember I talked about that last week. What things could I do that would make me a better citizen of the world? In what ways do I allow myself to drift away from a holy path? In this new year, how can I connect more deeply with the holy inclinations of my heart and make choices that honor them? What vision of myself needs to be called home? Like I want to, not because I want, but my true calling, a sense of self. So Rabbi Jonathan Sacks, you probably have heard of him as well, well-known, was the chief rabbi of England, wrote, "Forgiveness liberates us from the past. Forgiveness breaks the irreversibility of reaction and revenge. It is the undoing of what has been done. Humanity changed the day Joseph, remember the story of Joseph? Joseph forgave his brothers. When we forgive and are worthy of being forgiven, we're no longer prisoners of our past." There you go again. Remember to close all the tabs in your brain, in your mind, in your soul. And now another fantastic rabbi you've all heard of, Rabbi Harold Kushner, wrote, "Forgiveness is not a matter of exonerating people who have hurt you. They may not deserve exoneration. Forgiveness means cleansing your soul of the bitterness of what might have been, or what should have been, or what didn't have to happen." So there are perhaps no sadder people than the men and women who have a grievance against the world and because of something that happened years ago. So I was searching for poems or thoughts about forgiving myself or ourselves. Ironically, I found it in Lilith magazine. Are any of you familiar with Lilith? Lilith was the other wife of Adam before Eve, according to mythology and Midrash. So Lilith magazine is a well-known women's magazine. So this is in a woman's voice. Prayer to forgive yourself on Yom Kippur. So I apologize that I'm a guy, you know, but my mother, I'm sure many of your mothers were, and some of you in this room are super women, right? You can never be good enough. You always, did you all see Barbie? I thought America Ferrera, her line was the whole speech. You always have to be, you know, be thin, be good looking, you know, don't be too uppity, but be strong and all this. So this is reflecting that. By Risha Groner from 2018. Yom Kippur is here and I churn like my foremothers who stood at the helm of domestic technologies, spinning, weaving, churning, kneading. I feel my insides move and dilate. It's hard to think straight. Am I here to offer apology, to demand pardoning, to ask forgiveness? Am I forgiving myself? Am I sorry for what I've done? Or sorry that I've allowed myself to be so driven by guilt, so stricken by these ancient feminine mechanisms of pain that I've obstructed my own divine purpose in so many ways? Al chet shechatanu lefanecha, the words we intone in every synagogue, temple, and sacred space, for these and sins we've transgressed before you, in the home, on the street, in the workplace, in the bedroom, on the internet, on this earth. Salach lanu, pardon us. Mechal lanu, forgive us. Kaper lanu, grant us that magic balm of compassionate, all-encompassing atonement. And so I begin by forgiving myself. I forgive myself for procrastination, for perfectionism, and for never believing in myself as much as God believes in me. I forgive myself for labeling, judging, assuming, or naming another human without knowing their situation fully. I forgive myself for judging my own actions, my own thoughts, my deeds more harshly than God or other humans could ever judge me, and carrying those stories with me day after day. And I forgive myself for demanding gender roles of others, intentionally or unintentionally, passing judgment on someone's appearance to assume their capabilities and hurting feelings in the process. I forgive myself and sometimes for perpetuating and not being fully free of false standards of beauty for all genders. I forgive myself for self-loathing, for self-doubt, for hating and maligning the being that the divine has placed on this earth. It goes on and on. I'll throw just a few more. I forgive myself for dumbing myself down, for acting way too smart, for getting competitive, or for backing off completely. I forgive myself for apologizing all the time, for pretending I don't have a right to take up space, for carrying stories of guilt and revenge and poison with me that have only held me back. If you're beginning to get the gist of what I'm talking about and some of these poems, it's not saying, I didn't do that. I don't take any responsibility. It's saying, I will not let myself live with debilitating guilt that will kill me and make me stressed and ill inside. So she closes by saying, I forgive myself for not being perfect all the time, or for thinking I'm too perfect all the time, for forgetting that I am a work in progress, and even if there's room to improve, I can still forgive and move forward. So in a kind of a conclusion, and we'll do some of these, I will share with you some of these tomorrow. Several rabbis, including that same Rabbi Kook, wrote positive viduis, a positive affirmation. Instead of saying, "Oi, we did this, we did this, we did it," we say positive things. So as we get ready for the vidui, for the confessional section, I ask you to think about ways that you've done good things in life. And I'll read some of those in just a moment. The Buddha had a saying, anyone who is not able to forgive, it is as if they have a sword in their hand. I told you this story last year, I think. And there's somebody behind them and they stab that person through their own heart. We have to forgive ourselves. We have to forgive others. And therein lies the beauty of Yom Kippur, Yom Shippur. Thank you. May we all be inscribed in the book of life and healing. So now we get ready for the Misha Beirach. First, we have a call to justice. We have a reader on 852. Jeff? No? Yeah. $8.52. We can skip it.
Love your neighbor as yourself. Bear my hatred in your heart. Spring for the ignorance of people shall be eaten made from months. You still love a stranger then. Were you a stranger to the land of Egypt?
Not all one divine character has not one God created us.
Why then do we deal treacherously against one another?
And love. He establishes us in the land.
Give bread to the hungry, bring the poor that are cast out into your house.
Let justice well up as water, and righteousness as a mighty stream.
For righteousness and justice are the foundation of God's throne.
Look,
And God will lead us to change.
and one more thing before we do the Vidui prayer, let us pray for those needing healing in our community. The Misha Berach is not in this prayer book, but it is on the song sheet that you have, if you want to find the Debbie's tune. Hey, number 7. And I started a new practice. You don't have to adopt it. I'm going to add some other names to the Misha Berach. Healing for Cheryl Adler, Marvin Rafaelo Batsari Menu, Jason Bloomberg, Margot Brown, Patty Burgess, Ed Clark, Eliava Batsara, Ashley Cloud, Cheryl Cohen, Amy Davis, David Shlomo Ben Chaya Yocheved, Dorothy Feldman, Lila Galensky, Joe and Priscilla Golden, Rivka Chaya Bathana Rivka, Hannah Rivka Batsara, Lynn Grimm, Leslie Kay, Babs Klein, Yaakov Ben Menachem, Bracha Bat Henya, Roger and Patricia McDaniel, Martin Moshevitz, Tama Nisbet, Einat Bat Nitza, Donna Pepper, Linnell Phillips, Kelly Priest, Melissa Rayer, Georgia Young, Dwayne Zabel, Susie Ribnick, Michael Shea, Ava Smith, Tim Solon, Malka Bat Esther, Stephanie Sterling, Joe Thomas, Patrick Van, Agnes Weinstein, Lisa Zinn, Beverly Smith, Jackie Giorgio, Jackie Sundheim, Jonathan Savell, Andrea Moldo, Morris Gardner, Samuel David Cheris, Henry Stinson, and these are still on there, yes, Melvin Sanders, Deneen Shadakovsky, Mary, and also Josh, Harlan Ribnick, Liz Wolf, Patty Wyatt, Benjamin David Ben Talia Ruth, Micah Ben Talia Ruth, Ethan Prensler, Marianne Palmer, as was mentioned earlier, Adrian Montaka, or Raz Montaka, Clara Nelson, and all the women who are facing consequences of their choices and their inabilities to get medical care because of our justice system, all the children, young people, transgender, and others who are being persecuted around the country, all the children in places where there are wars and man-made disasters, particularly in the Middle East, and all the people still recovering from various nature disasters like in Lahaina and other things like hurricanes and things that might be associated with human efforts. Anybody else want to add a name of loved one? Okay, Courtney, will you come up with me once again? Love when we sing together. At home, anyone want to unmute?
My stepdaughter, Tiffany.
Okay. And if you have someone else that you think of as you're going home, that's okay. God knows, that it was meant. Again, it's on page, song number 7 at the top of the backside of the sheet. Nu mekor haberaka le'ikotenu. May the source of strength who blessed the ones before us help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing. Amen. Misha Imote Mikol Aberacha Bless those in need of healing with refuah, flema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say, Amen. Thank you, Courtney. Turn with me now to page 450 in the prayer book. This could be a reading for all or for me. I don't know, Jeff, you probably didn't pick anybody for this. Yes? No, okay. This begins the vidui that we'll get used to. I said 450, did I not?
Yes.
I was wrong. It's yeah, well, we were playing. Top of 448, top of 448. O God, who hears prayer, to you shall all creatures come. Together they shall come and worship before you and render homage to your name. Come, let us worship and bow down. Let us bend the knee before the Lord our Maker. Come, let us sing to the Lord. Let us exclaim the rock of our deliverance. Let us draw near to the Lord with thankfulness. Let us acclaim the Lord with songs of praise. Righteousness and justice sustain God's throne. Love and truth attend God always. The sea is God who made it, whose hands formed the dry land. In God's hands, the life of every human being. Okay, so now on the top of page 454, no, 448, there it is. No, where is it? Back one. Shema Kolenu. I have it. Yeah, I was right. 456. Actually, 454, there it is. And this is where Moses goes back up the mountain to God and says, tell me who you are. What are you? And we recite these 13 attributes. The Lord is ever present, all merciful, gracious, compassionate, patient, abounding in kindness and faithfulness, treasuring up love for 1,000 generations, forgiving iniquity, transgression, and sin, and pardoning the penitent. Vayavor Adonai al panav, vayikra Adonai, Adonai, el rachum v'chanun, erech apayim v'rav chesed v'emet, Otzer chesed le'alafim, noseh avon v'afesha v'chata v'nakeh. Now pick up on 458. Hear our voice, Adonai our God, spare us and pity us. Accept our prayer in your gracious love. Turn us to you, O Lord, and we shall return. Renew us as in days of old. You know, that comes from the end of the book of Lamentations. At the end of all that sadness and destruction, we say, return us to you, God. And those are the words we say as we return the Torah to the ark. Shema Kolenu, Adonai Eloheinu, Kos v'rachem aleinu, v'kabel berachamim, u'v'ratzon, et filatenu, hashivenu, Adonai elecha, ve'ashuva, ve'nashuva, Kadesh, Kadesh, Yemenu Keke. 460. Our God and God of our ancestors, forgive us, pardon us, grant us atonement. Now, there are many different tunes for this. You'll hear a couple of them, different ones tomorrow. Tonight we'll do kind of a faster Hasidic one. For you, we are your people and you are our God. We are your children and you are our parents. We are like, this is all metaphors, of course. Eloheinu ve'avoteinu, salach lahanu, michal lahanu, hapel lahanu, ki anu amecha, ve'ata Eloheinu, anu vonecha, ve'ata avinu, anu avadecha, Ve'ata Adonenu, anu kehalecha, ve'ata pekenu, anu nachlatecha, ve'ata goralenu, anu tzonecha, ve'ata roenu, anu karmecha, Ve'ata notrenu, anu turatecha, ve'ata yotrenu, anu rayatecha, ve'ata dodenu, anu segulatecha, ve'ata krovenu, anu amecha, ve'ata malkenu, anu ma'amirecha, ve'ata ma'amirenu. I ask you to please rise, 462. And I will say a few words more about this afterwards. Some of you know that this confessional prayer is done in the plural. Many reasons are given for that. One of which is that we're all one. We're all one body. We're all one great soul. And so if one person sins or hurts another person, the whole body suffers. And as I said, afterwards, I'll read a positive vidui, positive confessional. So if you don't know it, it's a good time to learn it. This time I'll do it repeating. I'll sing it and you can sing after me. And then we'll read the English. But first, the little Hebrew here at the top. Our God and God of our ancestors, may our prayers come before you and may you not ignore our prayers. We are neither so arrogant nor so stubborn as to declare that we are righteous and have not sinned, for indeed we have sinned. Eloheinu el avotenu v'imotenu, tahavu lefanecha tfilatenu, ve'al titalem mitchinatenu, she'en anachnu avefanim, u'kshei oref, lomar lefanecha, Adonai Eloheinu ve'elokei avotenu v'imotenu, tzadikim anachnu ve'lo chatanu, aval anachnu chatanu. Ay 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 ay. Ashamnu,
Ashamnu,
Bagadnu,
Bagadnu,
Gazalnu,
Gazalnu,
Dibarnu dofi,
Bardofi,
He'evinu,
Elinu,
Vehirshanu,
Yeshamnu,
Zavadnu,
Zahadnu,
Chamasnu, Kafalnu sheker. Ay 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 ay. Ay 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 ay. Yatsnura.
Yatsnura.
Kizavnu.
Kizavnu.
Lahatsnu. Marahadnu. Niatsnu, Sararnu, Avinu, Ashanu, Sararnu, Kishinu Oref, Ya 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 ya, ay ya 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 ya. Ay, 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 Rashanu, Shichatnu, Tati Avnu, Ta'inu, Titanu. Let's read the English across the page. We have trespassed, we have dealt debtorously, we have robbed, we have spoken slander, we have acted perversely, we have done wrong. We have acted presumptuously, we have done violence, we have practiced deceit, we have counseled evil, we have spoken falsehood, we have scoffed, we have revolted, we have blasphemed, we have rebelled, we have committed iniquity, we have transgressed, we have oppressed, we have been stiff-necked, we have committed abomination, we have gone astray, and we have led others astray. You can be seated, and here are several, but I'm only going to read one each evening. So originally, the idea of this positive vidui, this positive confessional came up with the same Rabbi Isaac Cook, but other people have come up with them. So in 2014, Rabbi Benjamin Holtzman wrote a positive confessional, and here is a part of it. And they noticed that in the Hebrew, so if you know Hebrew, it was Aleph, Bet, Gimel, Daled, everything alphabetically. So here is an English version. This is positive. Just like I said, give yourself a break, forgive yourself. We have acted authentically. We have blessed. We have cultivated compassion. We've delighted. We've engaged empathetically. There's your E. We've favored fairness. We've galvanized. We've harmonized. We've inspired. We've joined. We've kindled kindness. We've laughed. We've matured. We have nurtured. We have offered optimism. We've persevered. We've questioned. We've released. We have sympathized. We have tried. We have uplifted. We have vivified. We have welcomed. Wait for the X's, right? We have X'd out excess. We have yearned. We have zoomed and zoomed in. That one was not from the Rabbi. For all these sources of life, inspire us, encourage us, and sustain our hope. And now we pick up on page 466. Once again, I ask you to rise. It is a bit intimidating, but if you think this is heavy, if you ever looked at the traditional prayer book, it goes on for about 16 pages of all the sins. And we're going to read some of that in English. Top of 466. And then we'll join in the Al Kulam that's in the middle of, we'll do one in Hebrew, one in English, and one back in Hebrew. Al chet shechatanu lefanecha b'imutz halev, al chet shechatanu lefanecha b'vitui sfatayim, al chet shechatanu lefanecha b'galui v'seter, ועל חטא שחטאנו לפניך בדיבור פה, על חטא שחטאנו לפניך בהרהור הלב, ועל חטא שחטאנו לפניך בווידוי פה, על חטא שחטאנו לפניך בזדון ובשגגה, ועל חטא שחטאנו לפניך בחילול השם, ועל כולם אלוהי סליחות. Salah lanu, Flip to page 468. For the sin of the hardened heart, and for the sin of the tail-bearing lips, for the sin of the lustful look, for the sin of the pious mask, for the sin of enjoying violence,
For the sin of polluting your earth,
for the sin of debasing your speech,
for the sin of degrading your name,
and for the sin of the yes that was no,
and for the sin of the promise of death.
For all these sins, O God of forgiveness, forgive us, pardon us, grant us atonement. Ve'al kulam Elohar Selichot, Selach Lanu, Mechalanu, Lanu. Back to the Hebrew, just a little bit of it on 466. You can follow in the 467 for the stiff neck and, you know, the sense of that we know better. ועל חטא שחטאנו לפניך בשיקוד עין, על חטא שחטאנו לפניך בעזות מצח, על חטא שחטאנו לפניך בפלילות, ועל חטא שחטאנו לפניך בצרות עין, על חטא שחטאנו לפניך בקישוט עורף, על חטא שחטאנו לפניך ברכילות, like gossip and tail bearing, ועל חטא שחטאנו לפניך בשנאת חינם, by hatred for no other reason than it feels good. Al kachanu lefanecha itimhum levav ve'al kulam Elohar selichot selach lanu mechalanu kapelanu. Howard, if you would be willing to come back up, and Courtney to join me in Avinu Malkeinu. I'll do the davening, but I just love to have you guys the three voices live and unrehearsed, folks. Just imagine how much better it'd be if we actually rehearsed. But so Avinu Malkeinu is troublesome sometimes to those of us who have trouble thinking of God as a daddy or a king. I read a book years ago, my understanding, so I'll just say the title of which was King, Warrior, Magician, Lover by Robert Moore. And in it, he talks about that we all have an inner king or queen that is the executive function, telling us what we know to be the right path. That's what we're looking to. We're not talking out there, we're talking inside. Page 472. I'll just start and speak your life.
Okay, and I'll do the hum. I'll go up.
Yes. Avinu Malkeinu chatanu lefanecha, Avinu Malkeinu en lanu melech elata, Avinu Malkeinu chachzreinu b'shuva shlema lefanecha, Avinu Malkeinu chadesh aleinu shana tova, Avinu Malkeinu shlach refuah shlema lechol ha'emecha, Avinu Malkeinu chafer atzat oivecha. Join me, make 6 lines in the Hebrew, in the English side. Avinu Malkeinu, remember us favorably. Avinu Malkeinu, inscribe us in the book of goodness. That's what you say on Yom Kippur. On Rosh Hashanah it was written, on Yom Kippur it's sealed. You still got a few more hours though. Avinu Malkeinu, inscribe us in the book of redemption.
Avinu Malkeinu, inscribe us in
the book of sustenance. Avinu Malkeinu, inscribe us in the book of merit.
Avinu Malkeinu, inscribe us in the book of forgiveness.
Avinu Malkeinu, inscribe us in the book of not burping and having hiccups in the middle of the prayers. Avinu Malkeinu, hasten our deliverance.
Avinu Malkeinu, grant glory to your people Israel.
Avinu Malkeinu, hear us, pity us, spare us.
Avinu
Malkeinu, accept our prayer with mercy and favor. Avinu Malkeinu, have pity on us and on our children.
Avinu Malkeinu,
for those who went through fire and water, the sanctification of your name. Avinu Malkeinu, act for your sake, if not for ours.
Avinu Malkeinu, graciously answer us, although we are with our parents, deal with us charitably and lovingly.
You guys pick the key, knowing Howard is going to be high, but I'll sing low. And the Hebrew is transliterated. Here's what it said. We just read it. Graciously answer us. Now, if you want to, just to humor your funny rabbi, page 4, the back of the song sheet, the front of the song sheet, page 4 is my English version, which I will throw out there too, just so you can kind of think about it and what it means. Avinu Malkeinu, Aneinu V'Aneinu, V'Einu Asim, Asim. Our healer, our special friend, please help us our lives to mend. Please guide us and teach us, so blessings can reach us. We no longer want to pretend. Help us be to make your when we become more like angels, now from the end. Seated. Thank you, guys, so much. Always. You notice that your crazy rabbi is getting more and more people into the swing of things. And, maybe next year we'll have a choir. I mean, not a choir, but, you'll all get up here and sing. You don't have to be a trained singer. Well, in Howard's case, you do. But Courtney and I are not trained singers, and we do okay. Let's go to the 474 to that reading. And just, I don't know whether we have a reader. We did not. Okay. No, it's okay. 474. Avinu Malkeinu, give us the honesty to call a sin a sin. Avinu Malkeinu, help us to renounce the idols we worship. Avinu Malkeinu, give us the strength to seek forgiveness. I'm going to do the feminine. Imenu Malkatenu, keep us from being our own worst enemies. Our healer, our inner strength, keep us from surrendering our hopes. Avinu Malkeinu, free us from needless worry and useless anxiety.
Avinu Malkeinu, keep us mindful of all the needs of your children.
Avinu Malkeinu, teach us to cherish the good we have abandoned.
Avinu Malkeinu, help us to abandon the people we cherish.
Avinu Malkeinu, help us to love you with all our hearts.
Avinu Malkeinu, help us to
seek you with all our soul. Avinu Malkeinu, help us to serve you with all our might.
Avinu Malkeinu, help us in our quest.
Avinu Malkeinu, teach us the joy of studying Torah.
Avinu Malkeinu, give us the strength to all people's ways.
Avinu Malkeinu, show us the way to harmony and reconciliation. As we get near to the end, 476, as I said last week, I'm attempting to teach and learn and share the Hasidic Kaddish Shalem. 476. Yikadal v'yikadash shemei rabba amen. V'alma divra kihirutei v'amlich malchutei v'chayechon uv'yomechon uv'chayei d'chol beit Yisrael ba'agala u'izman kariv v'imru amen. Yehi Shmei Rabba Mivarach Leolam Ulameh Almaya. And the chorus goes, Yitbarach, Yitbar. Okay, go. Yitbarach, Yishtabach, Yitbar, Yitroman, Yitnaseh, Yitadar, Yitale, Yitalal, Shmei de Kudesha. Shmei de Kudesha, hear your part. Barihu. Leila Ella Mikol Birchata B'Shirata B'Tushbechata Nechemata Damiran Be'alma V'Imiru Amen. Titkabel Slaut Hon V'Uthon D'Chol Yisrael Kadam avuhon vivishmaya v'immeru amen. Yehesh lama rabba min shamaya v'chayim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'immeru amen. Here we go. Oster shalom v'imromav. Nobody else wants to clap but me. Okay. Oster shalom v'imromav. Oh, ya ase shalom aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'immeru amen. Okay, on 478, we will, in a minute, we will rise for the aleinu. After one more time, the rabbi explains that the aleinu, as I said last week, has changed from its interpretation. Once upon a time, it meant, may it come to be that everybody realizes that we were right and they were wrong. And now we really mean, there is a diversity in the world, that it's okay that all of us have different names for the oneness that we call God, that all of us pray in different ways. I'm very happy that this week we had the conference of the Wyoming Interfaith Network with all the different folks that got together. And last night there was a farewell dinner for Roger McDaniel of Highland Presbyterian, of which Jason spoke, Mohammed Salih spoke, representing the Muslim community, and just the diversity of religions. And yet, at the same time, the aleinu says, there will come a time when all will be one once again. Please rise. 478. Aleinu l'shabeach l'adon hakol לתת גדולה ליוצר בראשית שלא עשנו כגויי הארצות ולא שמנו במשפחות האדמה שלא שם חלקנו כהם וגורלנו ככל המונם אנחנו קוראים ומסתכלים ואוהבים לפני בשמיים ממעל ושכינתו זו בגבי מרומים that Malkeinu Pesulato Kakatu Vitorato Mota Elevavecha Hi Adonai Hua Elohim Hashamani Imal Aretz mitzvot einod. 480 and 81. May your reign come soon and last forever, for sovereignty is yours alone, now and forever. So it is written in your Torah, Adonai shall reign forever and ever. The prophet too proclaimed this promise. Lord shall be sovereign over all the earth. On that day, the Lord shall be one, in God's name one. V'ne'emar v'haya Adonai lemelech al kol haaretz v'yom ha'hu yihye Adonai echad u'shemo You can be seated. We'll be up again in a minute, but so as many of you know, on Yom Kippur it is customary to light a candle on behalf of all of your loved ones that are gone, not just those who passed away in the past year. If you haven't done so, I give you whatever you want to call it, allowance to do that. Or you could do it, wait until, next week, we'll do it once again for Shemini Atzeret. The Yizkor that we'll do tomorrow is, there's a lot of you know that there's a tendency or a custom in the old traditional ways, because God forbid, I don't have anybody that I'm saying Kaddish for or that I'm remembering, so they would leave. Today, a lot of people say, I want to be here in solidarity with those people who are saying the Yizkor. The Yizkor, as I said, is for everybody. And we have a long list that Jeff others will read tomorrow. So as we get ready to say the Kaddish, I want to do it with that intention that we're saying the Kaddish on behalf of all those who don't have someone to say Kaddish for them. I will spare you one more reading. Did you know that this is the 50th anniversary of the Yom Kippur War in Israel, and this year? And I have not seen Golda yet. It's been playing down in Fort Collins. I got to see it. I recommend it. It's very powerful. Just the idea that was what they went through then. Over 2,600 people, Israelis, were killed in that war. And so there's a poem, a piece I found about Golda that I might read tomorrow. So we think about all the people who've crossed over, and also all the people who built this building, all the folks who had the vision to create a Jewish community in Wyoming. So the recent passing this past year includes Donna Marie Thornell, Susan Fisher, Sue Dyer, Ellen and Aaron Bregman, as was mentioned earlier by Dave, Ruth Langley, Maximilian Lerner, that's Dave's father, Doris Brent Scherer, Arnold Schlisselman, that is Courtney's uncle. I always get them mixed up, sorry. Bill Fisher, Aaron Bregman, I mentioned, Stephen Randolph, Melanie Peoples-Hatch, that is Rebecca's mother, Michael Ehrlich, Carmen Rittenauer, that's George's mother, Arlene Cohen-Harris, recently, and the yard sites for this time of year, is it right here? I got them. Simon Landman, Georgette Silverblatt, Anna Schumann, Erwin Ginsberg. And are there others? There may be others that people want to mention, loved ones. Say again?
David Schlisserman.
David Schlisserman, okay. Online, unmute yourself if you want to say a loved one's name. On page 482.
Harry Voiles.
Oh, gosh, thank you.
Thank you.
As we recall with affection those who have been taken from our midst, we thank you for the years of love and companionship with them, and for all the memories and undying inspiration which they have left behind. In solemn testimony to the unbroken faith which links the generations of the house of Israel, those who mourn now rise to sanctify your name. And that can include anybody who wants to rise. 482 at the bottom. Yitgadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabbah, v'alma divarach v'yutei v'amlich malkutei, v'chayechon v'yomechon, v'chayei dechol beit Yisrael, v'agala v'zman kariv v'imru amen. Yehei shmei Rabbah mevarach le'olam u'lalmei almaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach, v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh, v'yitadar v'yitalev v'yitalal shmei dekudshah b'rifu. Le'ela b'kol birchata v'shirata, tushbachata v'nechemata, damiran be'alma v'imru amen. Yehei shlama Rabbah min shemaya v'chayim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. Oseh shalom b'imromav, hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael, al kol yoshvei tevel v'imru amen. Jeff, will you come up and lead us in a minute, in the Yigdal? And first we have, be seated, please. We've got a reader, if that person is still here. Page 490, one. On this night of atonement.
Because hungry for justice, give us courage. Because hungry for peace, and give us the strength to live for it. Keep us hungry for righteousness, and give us the determination to live it. Keep us hungry for love, and give us the understanding to earn it. Keep us hungry for reconciliation, and give us the wisdom to attain it. Keep us hungry for your forgiveness, and give us the ability to balance for it. On this night of atonement, sustain us and strengthen.
Okay. I don't know, Phyllis, Jeff may have some other announcements. Okay, I would like to announce that the Oneg tonight is sponsored by the Angels. Not the Dodgers, the Angels. No, I just love the idea that you're saying a blessing for food that you will eat tomorrow night. But on that note, do you want to read the names of the people who prepared the food, or you want to wait till tomorrow? It's just, there were people here all day cooking. It's beautiful for the breakfast tomorrow night. So honor them and come back tomorrow night for the breakfast. Okay, then I have a couple of important announcements, some of which were in the newsletter or the on-site website. Yes, I may have been crazy to do this, but I'm starting a new Judaism 101 class Tuesday night. That's right after Yom Kippur. We already have about 6 people registered. It is not only for people who want to convert to Judaism. It is not only for people from the outside, although there's one member of Highland Presbyterian that is coming. I'm really excited. It's for anybody who wants to learn more. Members can just drop in periodically. I will send out the syllabus, should be finished, a few things I want to add. This topic this Tuesday is who is a Jew? What is a Jew? Why is a Jew? Like all kinds of varieties of Jews, and a little of the history. And we'll cover the holidays, but I'm doing it differently this year. It'll be here, except for the people who are out of town, like some of you guys online. When the snow hits, whenever it hits, we'll move to more of a Zoom platform. But I really want people to come here. And so if you feel like doing something Tuesday night, just come here in the social hall. Also, Wednesday at, is it 2 to 5, we'll be building the sukkah outside. It's going to be lots of fun because we have to work with what we have, and we're with some new materials. And Friday night, well, I'm just doing them all. Do you want to do the rest? I'm on a roll here. Friday night is beginning of Sukkot. So we will meet, again, the people who were cooking yesterday or today are also going to cook. They're more through the week. And we have some really great food for Friday night. Service, there's 2 events, 5:30 for the children Gail, are you doing that? With me too, but 5:30 for the kids and families, and everybody just show up. And 6 o'clock we'll start with the service and then dinner, or a little bit of nosh, but I want to include some songs. Remember, Sukkot is all part of this whole rhythm. And okay, so as long as we get some songs in, because people will be hungry. I know.
Don't want to argue with the sisterhood.
I don't want to argue with the sisterhood.
No.
All right. Sunday morning, October 1st, if you feel like going to church, I'll be speaking at the UU down the street at 10, I think. There's 9:30, but I think I'm speaking at 10 on my trip to Israel and the political situation there, and then rushing home because at 1 o'clock I'm inviting everybody. There's nobody that's not invited to come to my house for a potluck dairy Sukkot celebration. I am ordering my own lulav robe for next week, and that will be on Sunday, October 1st, from 1 to 3. And then, Jeff, back here, he wanted me to stop at a time for people to come back here to folk dance. So that's coming up. And then the very last thing, as you know, is Simchat Torah. is October 8th, 7th, Saturday night. And that is going to be in honor of you, Morris. Are you there? He was here a minute ago. Yeah, there he is. All right. We're honoring Morris, and we're not having a Shabbat morning service. Instead, it'll be the evening, early evening, and all that'll be in the newsletter. All right. I'm sorry.
Okay, a few more things.
Yeah. Okay.
And this is new.
Yeah.
Dancing is canceled Sunday.
Oh.
Okay.
Okay.
That makes it easier for
Yeah.
you. That's not why it's being canceled.
Sure.
It works out.
Yeah.
The other thing is we should talk about tomorrow and times. For Yom Kippur, the morning service starts tomorrow morning at 9:30. The Zoom meeting will start at 9. Nitzker will be at approximately noon. We'll take a break, and then the Mincha service will start at 5:30. Zoom starts at 5, and Havdalah followed by break fast at 7:15 p.m.
Right. If we have a minyan, I know this community now quite well. If we have a minyan of enough people, we'll have a mincha service, which includes the Torah reading and the special haftarah of Jonah, the book of Jonah. If we don't have a minyan per se, we'll still discuss the book of Jonah. It's a really powerful story. It's a whale of a time. It's a little fishy, but the writers were working for scale. What can I say? Yeah. No more jokes on Yom Kippur. Anything else?
Was that on purpose?
That was on purpose, yes. All right, Jeff, come on. 486. Yehudo nelam v'gam ein sof le'achduto. Kadmon lechol davar asher nivra rishon ben reshit l'reshito. Shefan nevuato natano el anshe segulato betifato. Beto. So Fevio dea setarenu mabit lechol davar bekadmato. Yishlach leketz yamin meshichenu lifnot lechakecha Yeshuato. Meitim yechayel berocha hazdo baruch adead shem tehilato. To all of you here and at home, a very meaningful fast. Drink if you need to. And I will ask if you wouldn't mind, if some of you want to stay and help us relocate the Torah for tomorrow. We have to move, Jeff, we have to redo the section we're reading tomorrow. If anybody hasn't had a chance to see the Torah up close, that's an opportunity. All right, see you all tomorrow. 9:30 for the early stuff, which we're going to have the treat of Jeff leading. Another thing to look forward to tomorrow, Noam will be reading Torah in the morning. And once again, Howard and me and Courtney are going to sing Avinu Malkeinu. Y'all come back.
Thank you.
Tova.
Thank you. Shana Tov.
All right.
Send the recording.
Okay.